Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am PANCZASU and I should never have said anything at all, anything whatsoever related to viruses or sickness or flu, anything of the sort, because I jinxed myself by saying, oh yeah, flu, well that only takes like what, 3 days to go through? Yeah, I wanna go back in time and punch myself in the face. The only reason why I'm not doing it is because it would probably hurt. So yeah, there were no videos yesterday, and the day before yesterday I was just a little bit too sick to make them. I mean, obviously my speech isn't impacted by the sickness at all, it is related to some more stomachy issues, as you may imagine. But I still just didn't feel up to the task, and I'm sorry for this. I hope you can understand. Today I feel slightly better. I'm still sick, unfortunately, but I have to make this video. I mean, I've been waiting for too long, and I do feel slightly better. I took some pills as well, so I should be fun enough to bear for the next couple of minutes, which is good enough for me. So let's go ahead and record a video. Last time we killed a bunch of invaders, and now it is at the very long last the time to complete my faction quest. So without any more dawdling, let's start moving south, and if some kind of necrophage comes in through, tries to take over my capital, then I'll cry, but I will not cry too much. I mean, it will be actually fairly bad, wouldn't it? Yeah, let's start working on a Marine 610s, never mind, let's just risk it. It makes no sense. In such a English, let's try again. In such a situation, you should at least try to leave some form of defense in your city, because right now in the game, AI is simply a little bit too dumb to just outright attack something that has even a very weak defender in it. But they do sometimes attack a city that is completely undefended, so they're not completely retarded, they're just partially retarded, so you should keep that in mind. Either way, I feel like taking risk. I mean, what's the life without a few risks at the very least? So let's go ahead and try and finish the faction quest since I can. There are some necrophages in the north that is not perfect. Are those my enemies? Maybe? What color was my enemy? I don't remember. Let's have a quick look. It's... wait, what? Yeah, those are my enemies, unfortunately. That's a problem. And I have not even met the blue player yet. But those are obviously the Broker Lords. Yeah, I think they just recently expanded into this region that I was scanning before. And indeed, we can even see their city. But since they are still in the fog of war for me, I have not technically speaking discovered them yet. I just know that they are there. Alright, so here's hoping that those Necrodwarfs are not smart enough to attack and invade any of my cities, because they can take them instantly. If they do, well, then I'll simply retake them, but this would be slightly annoying. They are splitting their... why are they splitting their forces? I have to admit, I don't fully understand their intelligence, but yeah, it's certainly a thing. And in a way, 95%! Holy F my B! This is incredible. Wow. Okay, my people absolutely do love me for some reason. I couldn't actually understand why, but I'm not going to complain. I like it when people love me. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue exploring. Find out what is inside those ruins. Completed the objective. Yeah, that's very nice. And now I have been trapped. If I survive, or rather, if I kill the monsters, I don't even need to survive. But if I kill my enemies, then I'll also gain some extra influence. That's fairly nice. So let's go ahead and dismiss this message and go ahead and fight two Driders and a demon. This could be a scarier combo in all honesty, because the power of the Driders is the Cocoon. Cocoon is an interesting ability that I actually love a lot. It targets friendly creatures, it stuns them so they cannot do anything for one turn, but it also heals them significantly. So it's a really cool ability, and I like Driders just because of this. In the current battle setup, in the way that the battle is set up right now, it's not a very useful ability because you cannot control your units directly, and this is not going to change too much as well, but it's still a useful ability that can work in some scenarios. Anyway, the battle is about to start. Now, how do I want to deal with that? Well, ideally, I do want to kill this demon as soon as possible. Reason being, it is a demon, so it is scary, but at the same time, my hero should have a bonus against flyers. I cannot say that right now, but I'm fairly sure that this is the case. Now, my units have free range, so they should all be able to attack the demon, and I do not want to step any lower than that, because Driders are now melee attackers. They used to be ranged in the early days of Endless Legend, and they were OP as F. But now they are melee and they're much weaker, so I'm not terribly concerned, so as long as they attack me from low ground I should be fine. Although right now this area is a little bit scary because the enemy will have high ground, so I will have to walk forward a little. That's fine though. Let's make sure all of my units are taught to hold their ground because I don't trust them walking around and making stupid stuff. My hero can walk forward one square just to make sure nobody is going to stand on this tile. And as for my guys, they are all going to focus on the demon, and if they cannot do that, then they'll hold their ground. Thankfully, my initiative is greater than the enemy's, so I should be able to execute all of my actions quite easily. And let's shoot the demon from point blank from a cliff, because hey, why not? Ow! That had to hit. And the demon is dead. I feel like I'm safe now. Driders, as I mentioned, they are relatively weak right now. They cannot do a lot of damage at all. And they do not have a lot of health. It's not like they're bad, don't get me wrong. They do have some health. They have a lot of attack if you look at it. But when you compare it to some other neutral units, they are not that amazing. Still, they are nice, especially with their with the cocoon ability. And they are net slayers, so they can be surprisingly effective against infantry. But still, if you have Driders and you consider attacking infantry, don't. It's probably a fairly stupid idea. Infantry is fairly good at making sure that it can survive a Drider attack, even if a Drider has a bonus against infantry. Alright then, Hero is taking another shot, gonna kill a Drider, easy peasy, and my Marines should be able to finish off the last one. Enemies are dead. I love the sound of their death. They used to die in a very awkward manner, now they scream beautifully when they die. I like it. Anyway, so I'm now capable of pacifying my faction, my friendly Silix faction, and I have some bonus influence as well. And let's have a quick look what is inside those ruins. There's nothing of interest. That is a shame, but it is also something that I'll accept. Now, do I want to pacify Urses? I mean, if I don't pacify them, then this village will continue spawning neutral armies that will hinder my opponents. And there is nothing I get from pacifying them anyway, aside from the 37. So, in all honesty, I'll just let them be aggressive. And wait a second, that's the wrong faction, isn't it? Yeah, it's a different quest. Where are the Urses? Oh, there they are. Yeah, they just reward me pacification either ways. They do not actually give me anything else. So it's 513 wasted, and instead I can have those guys as my guards down the south. Which is what I would like, in all honesty. Alright. I can now finally pacify the Silix village, which was what I will do. And this will fulfill my faction? Wait, what? I have pacified them. It says so. No, apparently no. Maybe I guess I need to talk to them. Alright. Good to know. That's relatively strange. In the past, I swear this would be considered a done quest by this point. But maybe something changed, or maybe my memory is simply bad. Those are both possibilities of equal possibility. Wow, good wording, Pancake, good wording. Anyway, what do we want to go for next? There are several texts that require my attention. I do finally have access to accessories, which is good. I'll be able to equip my units with better stuff. But what else do I need? Titles would be nice, but until I get those, I could, theoretically speaking, employ Silix as the defenders of my Marines. I may do that instead of wasting some science on those guys, as awesome as that as may be on paper, they don't really look all that awesome on the map, at least in my standards, so just that. Also, I was never a huge fan of mechanical units in Endless Legend. I mean, I'm not totally against them, but Titan is a unit that you can get early in the game, and just seeing mechanical stuff early in the game kinda is weird. Especially since it seems like a far more powerful tech than what other techs voters are using, like for example fish farms. Yeah. I mean, I'm not totally against it. Endless Legend is this kind of cool, weird mix of fantasy and science fiction, but you know, I just want to say that I think we can postpone making items for the time being. What I can go for, however, is Deep Generator, and I think I might do it, in fact, simply because I have plenty of titanium. And then again, no, I think I will not go for any holy resource until I discover some extra possible holy resources in the next era. I think it's a safer bet now that I have not taken a holy resource up until this point. So what do I want to go for? Well, going for mercenary, there we go. For a mercenary market will give me access to some units that I couldn't get otherwise. It will increase my power. It's a tempting idea, but I don't really have the dust to buy any mercenaries. What else can I go for? I can go for some extra food or industry, so let's have a quick look at what my cities need. It does look like they could use some extra of both, if I have to be entirely honest, but certainly the population is a bigger issue. However, how do I deal with that when my cities have very little to no rivers at all? Well, that is a different question, because those things only help rivers. As such, I'm more tempted to go for something related to industry instead, or possibly just... oh wait, I already have empowerments. Okay, good to know. Well, in this case, I'm actually gonna go for... No, let's not go for deep generator yet. I mean, yes, this would give me the ability to go for them if I so desire, but right now I don't really desire. I mean, 10% on everything is really good, but I want to wait with picking my holy resource until later. And I explained this already, let's not repeat myself, let us instead just go for some extra industry. What do I have more of? Forests or not forests? I'm pretty sure that right now I could just... I mean, there are quite a lot of forests over here. But it would not be immediately too useful, whereas the ability to have just flat-out bonus to industry would in fact be useful, so let's go for just that. Alright, and let's have a quick look at my units. Do I want to re-equip them? Well, Dawn Officers, I so badly want to have them be good. Let's just see what I can do. I can give them some extra confidence or improved critical. Improved critical is an interesting idea. Maybe, just maybe, they'll be good enough to fight then. But confidence will make them survive a bit longer. Then again, they're not supposed to survive, they're supposed to one-hit kill the enemy, so let's go for improved critical instead. Now the thing is, something that somebody told me, is that apparently charge doesn't work right now. I'm not entirely sure, because I swear that there was a time where charge used to work, I think, but I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me. If charge indeed does not work, then Dawn Officers are entirely worthless, because they're just flat out worse than many other alternatives you can think of. I mean, if you're desperate for something to body block your marines, then honestly you could just design a different marine to body block your marines. Because honestly, at least he'll do better than Dawn Officers, so there's just that. And because I have a secret suspicion that indeed charge may not work, because the damage I've seen before was pathetic, I'm not going to make any Dawn Officers at this point in time. Alright, that's Pali. And congratulations, all villagers are pacified, and now I can finally assimilate the Silex. I'll gladly do that because I have more than enough influence, and as such I'll gain more strategic resources soon enough, as in right now. And so I have so much glass steel. No, let's not be dumb. I will not pick glass steel as my holy resource. There's no rush. I'm not in a hurry, it doesn't feel like I'm in danger. AI is doing some really weird moves. I think everything is good. Alright. Anything I can speed up over here? No. But let's have a quick look at my Harmonites. My new unit that is going to tank some damage from me. Now, those guys have the beam ability, which allows them to attack everybody in a line in front of them. So if they attack somebody on... Let's say that this tree is a select. If they attack an enemy that is on this line, they're also going to damage the enemy on this hex as well. Which is sometimes a useful-esque ability, but it's very unreliable because it's very rare that the enemy units will spiral up like this. If you were facing an intelligent opponent that was placing archers behind his melee units, then maybe, but an intelligent opponent wouldn't allow you to use Silex in such a way if he knew that you have Silex. So I'm not too keen on Silex special ability. It is cool, don't get me wrong, it's just not entirely useful. Alright, what do I want them to have? Well, obviously they are going to be my tanks, so they need to be as tanky as possible. I'm going to gladly give them confidence to make them even tankier, and also I will follow it up with what? I can either go for some extra critical damage and basically +0 to initiative, or alternatively I can give them big penalty to initiative. And that doesn't seem too much better. What, that's 5-8, and that's... Oh, right, it is actually way better. So those guys would have very bad initiative. And quite a bit weaker critical as well. You know what? No, I want those guys to actually have a high initiative. Reason being, as tanks, I want to be able to move them forward if necessary to you know, block some kind of gap. And as such, I'll let them be where they are. Then again, they already have 1 initiative. So if I go for -billion initiative, they will not feel that too much because the lowest initiative is 0. So I think I'll just go for this kind of weapon. It does look fairly lame on the selects, I admit. They used to have those crystalline looking machugas. Well, that doesn't make any sense. That's a Polish word. Battle hammers, that's more like it. And now they have just wooden battle hammers, which makes little sense and doesn't look as cool, but hey, we will go with it. Let's end the stand and see where we can go. Alright, and gain some population in both cities. That's actually fairly fancy. I will not say no to that. I always like it when I gain a lot of population all of a sudden. Alright, can I launch a counter attack on the necrophagist? I could. I would have to go through Broken Lords, lands, and I didn't necessarily want to do this because they would start wanting to kill me. Besides, I didn't even know where the enemy city is, and even though conquering it would give me a lot of valuable population, I just don't feel like it's the best option I have going for me right now. Meanwhile, this city is in such an amazing spot that I'll gladly go ahead and create a Borough Street. Although going for an Empirement and a public library and forest management might be better on early right now, because they just give me a bigger bonuses at this point in time. Alright. For population, I still don't think that rushing extra population is the most important thing for the city. I'd rather go for some extra industry production. Meanwhile, this city, same deal really. I do need to grow my army, so let's go ahead and do that. I do want to expand my Borough Streets as well. Where do I want to expand to? Well, further into the forest, most likely. Yes, it will cost me one production of food, but if I go over that, then this tile where the enemy minor village is, I mean not enemy, when this manufacturer's village is, it will just be worthless. It doesn't give you any feeds right now. It's something that the devs are trying to work around in the game code, but they have a little luck so far. Alright, this city is right now happy when it's not supposed to, because of expansion disapproval that suddenly appeared. Alright, that's good to know. It's sad because I'm kinda abusing the game mechanic again, which I'm not a big fan of. But hey, I guess, well, too bad, question mark? Anyway, let's go ahead and start creating direct extractors, and I'll also buy the glass steel extractor as soon as I have the dust to do it. Because having extra extractors is always good, especially when I can get extra tech from it. Like so, it's good to land and explore the magical riches of Auriga. It is indeed. I feel like we haven't had enough battles this far in this episode. Only one battle? What kind of episode is this? It's a lame episode, that's what it is. Anyway, why am I working on a marine? I don't want another marine, I do want a harmonite however. So let's start working on this guy. Let's go ahead and kill us a Necrodrone if at all possible. Or at least walk closer so it cannot really walk past me. And stay here for the time being. That's a really cool looking extractor. Sorry, I just thought about how cool looking it is when it is being produced. It actually looks cooler when it is being produced than when it is actually produced. I mean, look at that. I think it's kind of funny, isn't it? Whatever. Anyway, let's end this then as well. Is the enemy going to attack me? They probably cannot even virtually attack me because there is a minor village in the way, but there's a different squishy juicy target which is actually besieging my city like a bastard. Alright, so let's then kill them. Alright, the enemy is actually going to have some reinforcements, which is mildly scary but not making me too terrified, since I think I should be able to kill those guys quite easily. Now, my units definitely want to run away, apparently. Well, that's good to know, but I don't really want them to run away. I do want them to be a little bit closer. Although, positioning on this area and firing from behind the water tiles. This sounds like a very nasty idea, but I can only deploy one unit that would be close enough to actually abuse this terrain. So let's not overdo that. But let us still be relatively close to the coastline. Then again, by being a little bit further away, I can lure the enemy into a choke point right here, which I would like. So let's go for something like this, and then I'll move those marines back there. The reason why I'm not putting my hero on this tower and marines on this tower is because then I wouldn't be able to tell my hero to move backwards, because I cannot order my units to go into a place where a different unit is right now. Alright, hero has a first 10. Everybody is going to hold position. I forgot to tell them that this is the universal quest, unfortunately. Now, this marine is definitely going to occupy this tower, and this marine is going to occupy this tower. This way, I'll be able to rain found the enemy from afar, while those marines are simply going to go back if at all possible. Alright, hero is not going to do anything. Marines apparently couldn't move, so they decided to shoot the enemy. Well, at least they did something, but I'm fear for the laugh, as the enemy will probably have enough movement to go ahead and kill my marines outright, and indeed that does seem to be the case. It's okay then. though I just hope for the best. Well, that was not the best. Almost all of my Marines died, as they have some of them left, but I may actually really lose this battle, even though I have such a cool terrain advantage. This is, I think, where this game's battle engine shines the most, because this is what the devs probably were planning for. You're not supposed to give detailed order to your units. You're more like a real-life strategist on a real-life medieval combat field. You just tell your units more or less what to do, or rather you tell their commanders what to do, and they command their troops to do what they think is right in order to fulfill your orders. And then you can just watch the battle unfold and hope that your units will do what you wanted them to do. In this case, Endless Legend is actually very realistic. I don't have real control over what is happening, but it's as close as I can get right now, if you know what I mean. Because well, I simply tell my units, hey, I want you to do more or less this, and how you execute it, well, it's up to your commanders, that they will have to do the right choices. So there is that. A little bit of talk about this game's battle system. By the way, since I talked about something not directly related to this battle, let's talk about something else. If at any point in this video you hear the word Messiah, you're not actually supposed to hear this, okay? It's a subliminal message to your subconsciousness, so you are not actually hearing me say Messiah, it's just your imagination. It's your subconsciousness only that hears me say Messiah. Or phrases like, you want to vote for Messiah number 25 on the faction competition, currently losing on 4th place, but if it does reach 3rd place, then I'll actually be able to maybe get my faction in the game. You didn't hear any of that. You just, all of a sudden, there was the silence in the video right now, but your subconsciousness did hear this. You didn't hear anything. Messiah. So anyway, oh man, it's surprising how I didn't talk for some time right now, but the battle is going really well. It looks like picking this position worked very well for me, but I am going to lose my Marine, although for some reason this Necrodon Messiah didn't actually decide to walk forward and attack me, which is rather strange and silly, and this actually resulted in a draw? Well, then that's unexpected. Fortunately, my hero is fine, because heroes cannot die unless their armies are destroyed, which is a very nifty, nice feature, which I like a lot, because otherwise heroes would be so vulnerable and yet still so expensive. Alright then, Messiah, let's see what is there else to do. I don't think there is anything else I need to focus on. I do have a Marine protecting my new city of Ems. I also have a Cluster Extractor. What else do I need? That is a good question, but I think that at this point in time the most important thing is some extra science, because with extra science I can build better stuff, and with better stuff I'm just better. That's the reasoning I'm going to go for, and I'm willing to stick with it. Also, apparently my entire empire is happy, which is making me a little bit feel guilty. Make me feel guilty a little bit, Messiah, because this city is not supposed to be happy. But we'll deal with that. I certainly overdid being unhappy in my Broken Lords playthrough, so I deserve to be a little bit overexcited in this one, right? I'm sure it will be fine. No, seriously though, I'm pretty certain my Empire Messiah would be happy either way, even if this city was content instead of happy like it is right now. So it's all good, more or less. I will research sewer systems just to offset this, however, because I do not deserve to be happy, and I'm supposed to be happy. So as soon as I'm done with mining rights, I'll go for sewer systems. Even though it's not the tech that I actually want, I just want to offset the game abuse that I'm going for right now by accident. By the way, a slight notice, Messiah, is that when you are in your tech tree, you don't actually want to cancel your tech ever, because you will lose the science that you put into this tech forever. It's not like Endless Space was, where you can start researching something and then switch your tech and you'll keep the progress you had on this other tech. This would be the case in Endless Legend as well in the future, sure, but right now in this alpha build, if you stop working on something, you lose all progress. So never ever stop working on a tech, unless it's a really dire and rare situation. And there are fewer situations that I can imagine that would actually force you to do just that, Messiah. So don't do it. Alright, and what do I want to do with this army? It's a fairly decent army, but I think I'm just going to put it back into a city and let it heal up a little bit. As for my hero, I'll let her heal up, but not command any armies or govern any cities, just simply because I will want to assign her to an army again fairly quickly. So let's let her just rest, not do anything that is too stressful. You know, she deserves a little bit of a holiday, doesn't she, Miss Alma? By the way, I'm not sure if you know this, but Broccolos keep expanding. Playing as a true Broccolos should play. They just expand until the end of time, which I'll need to stop at some point, but since they are still yet to discover me, I'm more than happy just letting them keep expanding, because I don't want to expand there anyway. It's just desert and bad territory in general. I don't care about this area. Is there an area I do care about? Right now I'm not aware of the existence of such area, although I do want to explore this land and oh no, this area. Because there is more snow and cold in there, and voters like it when it's cold or snowy and whatnot. So yeah. Public library about to be done. Good. I think I will maybe go for forest management next. But I do want to have some extra dust first, so let's go for that. Now, I do actually have access to forest management in my main city. And as such, if I put population on food production, as you can see, again, a bajillion food produced much faster. But what I also want is to be able to make the barrel street as soon as possible, because it's just flat out useful. It does lower my happiness, but it is one step closer to getting a tier 2 barrel street over here in this tile, which I do want to get. And also it will give me a lot of benefits from those tiles, including food and production, which I will like. Those benefits may seem small. I mean, it's like, what? In total, I will gain 2, 3, 4 industry, and 1, 2 plus 3, that's 5. Wow, math, so good. So that's 5 food. Not that big of a deal in theory, but it does add up, and it's just a nice addition in general. Anyway, let's end this turn. Still no reason to create an army, although I would like to send a scout up north, and to be entirely honest with you, so I may do that right now. First things first, there is a fairly big army that is already ready to do so stuff like punch some holes in somebody's skulls and whatnot, so let's do just that. Reassign my hero that has healed up a little bit, very nice for her, Miss Alma. So let's attack the enemy. The enemy will actually have some kind of reinforcements, but one of those guys is heavily wounded, and we'll actually have a chance to see Harmonite in action, which is nice. After this battle, I'll probably end this video cast. I mean, I may not sound like it because I actually have a lot of practice in hiding my illness when I talk. I can sound pretty crazy any day of the week. I have practice in talking crazy. But I do actually feel kind of fatigued right now after this amount of talking, and I need to lie down. So I'll simply do just that. All of my units just kill people. I mean, I don't care how you do it, or who you kill at which point, or when. Who is attacking? Oh, it's this guy. Right, just focus fire on one guy and we'll be friends. Actually, you can probably one-hit kill this weekend target, so let's do just that. Go ahead and launch the battle and just prepare for annihilation. My army right now is unstoppable by the enemy standards, and I like it when that's the case. Alright, Neko Drones are taking heavy damage, and if I get some more of those bad boy Silex in my army, I can actually redesign my, how they call them, Marines, to actually use bows instead of crossbows and shields, because I do now have a frontline unit that can tank the damage, so I can play a little bit more like Wild Walkers would play. Which is why I'm not actually a big fan of Orders, because they are basically very similar to Wild Walkers, except they care about science instead of production, and that's pretty much about it. I mean, there are other differences, of course, yes, but in the grand scheme of things, they are the least impressively designed factions in Endless Legend right now. I mean, I had a good look at what is coming in the form of other mages, for example, and other mages, man, they are designed in such a cool, interesting way. You are going to love it when they are announced. Trust me. But those two factions, they could use some spicing up. Maybe the devs will spice them up. I would like it if they did. Anyway, what do I want to do with this hero? Well, just increase the damage that I can deal from afar with my units. Why not? And before we finish, just because I may forget about this later, let us redesign our marine ever so slightly, so that it can now employ bows. I do not want to give him any surgical resources because they are too valuable and precious to waste it on those bearded bastards. But this bow right now, as you can see, compared to the crossbow is very nice. 5 extra damage and -1 initiative. But a bow, that's also only 5 extra damage, but it's a lot of extra critical chance, and it actually does give you more damage. It still lowers your initiative slightly, but it's not a big deal. So yeah, I'll go for that for extra DPS. And that is about it. Ladies and gentlemen, it was PANCZASU, also known as the Mighty Mixpower. If you somehow managed to enjoy my videocast, then please by all means do like it and leave a comment below, which helps me a lot. Thank you very much for watching. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to put content up more regularly from now on. I don't want to jinx myself again, Miss Emma, but I think... Alright, let's not jinx myself. Expect regular content. Unless it is not going to appear, then don't expect it, but it should appear. Alright, let's not jinx myself. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you online, Miss Emma.